Welcome to the 2024 Immigration Canyon Halloween Half Marathon. We're doing something a little bit different here. Voiceover. I wanted to run this race fast, and hard to narrate it or talk to it while running it fast. So that's why the change. I'm going to do a little bit of a story. You can call it a Halloween story if you want. Possibly even a little spooky. Spooky. Not really. About a year ago, I ran this race before. This was my third half marathon of 2023. I had ran two previously, and this was one that Stacy had zero interest in running. So I signed up for it solo. And so I used this as kind of a measure at the time to test what I could do solo. And I did set a PR back in 2023 on this course. And this was obviously before the YouTube channel. So I wanted to run this race again this year, solo, to measure my progress. First of all, up at the start line this year, last year was actually a lot warmer. I didn't have to dress all that warm or anything. This year was freezing cold. So luckily I packed accordingly. I've got like this emergency blanket poncho on, I've got a coat on, but this was a very, very cold wait, while last year was not. And last year, in case you're all wondering, I dressed up as a Star Trek science officer. This year, though, I had a last-minute idea of dressing up as Superman because, well, Superman wears tights, wears shorts or underwear, depending on the joke, over his tights, but overall is kind of decent running gear. So I pitched this idea to Stacy on like literally the Tuesday before the race, and she thought she could make something really quick, so I thought she did an amazing job. But yeah, this year decided to go Superman. And then of course up at the start line I met another Superman. I liked his costume a lot, so he was more than willing to take a picture with me, and he was a very, very awesome guy. And while I had aspirations of flying down this mountain, he took off like a literal speeding bullet, or faster than. Yes, pun intended. Fun times at the start line. As we took off, I was feeling pretty good. I tried to eat decently going down this mountain. I had a bagel, peanut butter and jelly bagel again for this morning, and I did take 2 energy gels. I used one energy gel probably about 10 minutes before the race started, and then another one was, the plan was about 6 or 7 miles in. And I had a goal pace, but I really wanted just to try to run where I felt good but push a little hard, about what I did last year, and see what the difference is. First thing I noticed was the mile markers, at least for the first couple miles, were not correct.
It says 6:53. My watch hasn't said a mile yet. So 1 mile, 6:53, I guess.
These signs came up at about 0.8 miles in, and it wasn't just for me. Everybody else kind of was questioning as we ran by in our group. And then you could hear all our watches go off at the mile marker about, quarter mile further down the road, which was kind of funny. But we started off pretty good.
Just over 30 minutes in. Had to stop to tie my shoe though.
This course is a fast course, but I would say it's not as fast as Nebo or Heber, which we recently ran, but it's still a very fast course. The downhill is still very much there. So luckily the sun came out pretty quick, and it actually warmed up decently.
5 miles, just under 39 minutes.
I'm crushing it.
Thanks. Trying to. I know the last part flattens out, so I'm trying to save some for that.
Yeah, there you go. You got it. You're Superman.
That's what I'm trying to inspire myself with.
It's my first half, so we'll be in it together.
One thing that I really liked about this race last year, and was missing from this race, last year coming down the canyon, there's a bunch of houses in the canyon leading down into Salt Lake City, and they had a lot of kids and families out, and they had tables set up, and they were giving out trick-or-treat candy to everybody dressed up as you ran by. It was really fun. So I was kind of expecting the same this year, and there was only really like 2 families out along this 13-mile stretch out cheering people on, and the atmosphere definitely changed this year. And I think that's because it was a lot colder, but it definitely kind of killed the vibe a little bit, which is unfortunate because this could be a really fun race with all the people out there with their kids dressed up cheering you on and stuff like that. Not the case this year. The course, luckily, and I had hoped for this, was exactly the same. That's what I was hoping for because I wanted to be a true measure. The difference between obviously last year and this year is I had now been running for a little over a year. I ran a marathon. I trained for a marathon. I lost 20 pounds since that run. That run I was weighing in about 198 pounds. This year, the day before, I weighed in at 181 pounds. So, like I said, about 18 pounds lighter, as well as just, more training. So, I was assuming going to be quite the difference.
55 minutes in, just past the aid station at mile 7.
About mile 7, when I took my second gel, I started to tire. And I ran into a pacer who I talked to on the bus going up there. He was actually the 1 hour 45 minute pacer. I was ahead of him until about mile 7. Mile 7, they caught up with me. We ran probably for about a mile together, and he was telling me they were about a minute and a half ahead of pace, which helped a little bit because that meant technically I was still above a 145. So I felt a little bit better, but as we rounded around mile 9, 10, they started to leave me. So I figured, okay, I'm probably going to finish around the 150 mark. That's not bad. Continued to kind of cruise. The last 4 miles, I really started to struggle. I slowed down significantly as we hit more of the flat and a little bit of the uphill, as well as just being pretty tired. But I kind of managed to push on, and as I got near this finish line here, I could see the timer, and I was mathing in my head a little bit, and I still figured I was on pace for 145 with about a mile and a half left.
11 miles in, 1 hour, 27 minutes. Better grab some power in. Thank you. Alright, can I do 2 miles in about 22 minutes is the question. We're gonna find out.
Come on, Matty, you'll be my facer.
I can't, man. I'm tired. Whew. Alright, 1 mile to go for goal, 10 minutes. But I know it's got a big hill on it. Whew.
I didn't get to do a sprint across the finish line because, well, I had nothing left. I was gassed. So I probably got the beached walrus flop going on here as I crossed the finish line. But I did do it in a 144, which was definitely a PR for me.
Told you I was at 144. You did it.
Sorry, I lost language. that last quarter mile to that hill.
Yeah.
I had songs on random, but I need a hero come on. That's the last song.
And if we're looking at last year compared to this year, that's a little over 20 minutes. I believe 24 minutes or just under 24 minutes taken off. So that's the difference of persistence, training, staying consistent on it. This is all attributed to hard work and what can be accomplished by anybody as long as they kind of stay persistent and work hard. I spent a lot of time running in the last year. There weren't a lot of days off overall. I mean, I averaged between either 4 running days or 5 running days a week. There was runs that were miserable in cold weather. There was hot runs where I was probably dehydrated. There were easy runs where I felt like I could run forever, and there were hard runs where I broke down and almost cried. So it wasn't easy, but I am very proud of this run, and I was hoping for this type of result to show that this big of a time gap was taken off. To me is just something I think, not for me to brag, but worth anybody that sits there and thinks, oh, you know, I've been doing this for 2 months, I'm not getting faster, or it's not getting easier. You are. And I saw something way back when I was in high school, and the quote is, it's not getting easier, you're getting stronger. So, you know, as you start to train at slow or a little bit faster pace, and you're starting to add on more miles and stuff, and it still feels very hard, and you're supposed to, I'm even guilty of this, where, hey, it's this is supposed to be easier at this point. No, you're just getting stronger, and you're upping the training a little bit. So that is the result of hard work right there.
Eddie, we're looking for you. Saw you ran the 5K. Stacy says she looked up your time. Maybe we'll still run into you, but if not, giving you a shout out. Eddie, Utah follower, kick butt guy.
I hope to be faster next year. 20 minutes is crazy. That will not be the goal, but you know, if that were to happen, that would be awesome. But if I can take 5 minutes off next year, you know, I think that's once again just a factor to training. And I'm just hoping that to everybody out there, that once again, whether you've been doing this for years or you're just starting a running journey, or maybe you're 3 months in and you feel like there's not progress, it takes time, but I promise you the progress is there. And as long as you don't quit, you can see these types of results too. So with that, thank you, stay safe, keep pushing, and we'll see you for our next run. Ba-na-na-da-da-da-da-da. That's the outro music.
Only Tyson would run a half marathon and then opt to take the stairs.
The elevator's clear down there.
It's 4 floors up. Take us just as long.